Good evening, Endeavour. You join me on this very rainy Wednesday night, ready for our next extract on Thursday of The Fire Thief, and we are on chapter 23. Are we ready? The jailhouse of Eden City. Just when you thought we were going to get away with the loot, we were spotted at the station. Who on earth could it be? Had Mr. Mucklethrift tracked us down? Or had his butler noticed a missing mantel clock and guessed we were the villains? Go on. Which of the two? A man stepped from the shadows, a weedy man with a weedy grin on his weedy face. Uncle Edward jumped to his feet. Mayor Tweed, my good and dear old friend, he cried. How wonderful to see you. Tweed snapped his fingers and Sergeant stepped out of the dark waiting room. Two fat officers stood at his shoulder and blocked our escape. We were trapped like elephants in the quicksand. If Uncle Edward was ever going to talk our necks out the nooses, the time was now. Surely we don't need the police here, Uncle Edward said with a smile. We don't want them to know about our little arrangement, do we? Tweed narrowed his eyes. We had no arrangement, Slaughter. Sergeant looked a little confused. Sorry, Mr. Mayor, what is he talking about? Tweed lied as easily as my uncle. Oh, I pretended I'd meet him for a share of the swag. In fact, I only wanted to make sure he was caught red-handed with the loot. It's in the coffin. We agreed to share it out, Uncle Edward said carefully. I suppose we'll have to give the police our share now, do we? Sergeant sprang forward, his moustache quivering. Bribe the police? Is that what you're trying to do? I cannot be bribed. Not never, not ever. Uncle Edward shrugged. Then arrest Mayor Tweed. He said he'd meet us at the Lost Duck Inn to get his share. I went to find the Lost Duck Inn a little earlier. Found that there was no such place, the mayor said. Uncle Edward nodded. And that's when you decided to rat on us to the police, eh, Mayor Tweed? The mayor nodded. I had hoped to arrest you myself, he agreed, but when I found you'd lied to me, I went for Sergeant for help tracking you down. Ah, so how did the good sergeant know we were catching the midnight train? Uncle Edward asked, puzzled. Oh, I told him, Thea said softly. What? You betrayed us, I said. Thea nodded miserably. Remember, in the alley that leads to the Temple of the Heroes, I said to him I can't come back on in the morning anyway because I'm taking the midnight train. I didn't think it was important, but yeah, Jim, I betrayed you. I'm sorry. Mayor Tweed looked grim. Sergeant, lock them up and call out the judge. I want to see them hang at dawn, all neat in a row outside the jailhouse. Take them away. What about the loot, sir? Sergeant asked. Oh, don't worry about that. I'll take care of that, the Weasley Mayor promised, and his eyes glittered like gold inside the box. Make sure these villains are secure. They are wanted in 10 cities at least. The reward will be huge. Don't let them escape. No, sir, Sergeant nodded to his two officers. Constable Drab, Constable Dross, make the prisoners secure. The police officers quickly threw the chains around us and Theus gave a bitter laugh as we were led outside by the police. I'm used to wearing chains. Ah, yes, you spent 200 days in jail, didn't you? Uncle Edward said as the horses moved off and we clattered down the road to death. 200 years, Theus said quietly. You may be used to wearing chains, Sergeant said, but you sure ain't used to dying. Theus managed a weak smile. At least 70,000 times, actually, he said. Sergeant looked at Theus as if he was a madman and shifted away from him. But I wasn't interested. All I was worried about was how it would feel to die. I even felt spiteful towards Theus. At least he'd practiced death 70,000 times, and he was sure to come back to life. I wasn't a titan with the power to mend my broken neck. Yes, you know, as the reader, if Theus died, then he would give off a green spark. The Fury'd spot it, hunt him down and destroy him forever. Theus do that. I didn't. When you are headed for the scaffold, you do not feel very kind towards the people around you. In that police cart, I hated everyone. At last the van pulled up at the back of the jailhouse. I looked out at the free world one last time before I was led inside. In the distance I heard the train whistle blow. We had been so near to getting on the train, rich and free, so very near. Oh, yes, all right, so I feel very sorry for myself. It's easy for you sitting there, waiting to see me get what I deserve, but I bet that you'll feel pretty sorry for yourself when your time comes. Just wait and see. We were thrown in the same cell together. Our chains were left on our wrists. "Hello, my friends," someone cried from the bench against the wall. It was the blind beggar we'd met before. "Fancy seeing you again." "I thought you could see us," I said. "You never believed I was blind, did you? For a minute?" "Not really," I said. "I did," Thea said. The beggar said, Sergeant walked past me and dropped a coin on the ground. Of course I reached out and grabbed it. "Oh," he cries, "you're no more a blind beggar than me. He arrested me and threw me in here. I guess I'll get a flogging and be thrown out of town. Still, there's always another day in another town. What about you?" "Robbery," Thea said. "Ooh, no one important, I hope." "Mr. Mucklethrift of Mucklethrift Manor," I said. The beggar's mouth fell open. "Oh, well, in that case, you've got no chance. Old Mucklethrift will demand to see you hang. See, you should have robbed someone like me. Poor, no problem. But get caught robbing the rich, well, they want revenge. They want an example made of you. Sorry, fellas, your goose is cooked. He'll probably drag the judge out of bed, have you tried tonight, and get you hanged in the morning." Uncle Edward looked at the beggar with a cold stare. "Be quiet, man. Think of young Jim. An old villain like me deserves to die, but Jim here, he's innocent. He only did what I told him. He only did it to survive. He doesn't deserve to die." The beggar looked at his filthy feet. "Sorry, I wasn't thinking," he mumbled. "Not so sorry as I am," Uncle Edward sighed, and he looked at me for the first time in my life. He wasn't acting. "I'm sorry, Jim. If they said I could die and you could live, then I'd let them hang me and be happy." "Maybe there's a way we can all be happy," Thea said brightly. "There is a way." We turned and looked at him. "You've thought of a way? You have a plan?" I asked. "No, there is a way. I just don't know what it is." "Thanks, Theus," I said. "You're a great comfort." The keys rattled in the lock, and the jailer looked in. "The judge is ready for you now," he said. Chapter 24 is called The Courthouse in Eden City. See you tomorrow, guys. Bye.